Hello and welcome to Fearless DIY Music. My name is Tristan Lass, and today I want to talk about the realities of releasing music on physical copies these days, and the way it's been for quite some time. Since I do have an album project about to be released here within the next month or so, it'll probably be early January now. Holidays are a little bit fraught for me, so the album will be out probably the first or second week in January. And I'll be making announcements about that. However, it's brought up a topic, physical copies, that I thought would be worth discussing just to enlighten people who don't know how that whole thing actually works. The last album that I put out and actually made physical copies of to sell was back in 2008. I still have a box of those CDs sitting in storage in the next room. The reality is that most people do not want CDs any longer. I can't remember the last time I went into somebody's home and saw a stereo system with a CD player attached to it that was functioning and actually being used. I don't think that very many people still listen to things in that format any longer. However, vinyl is still a viable physical copy. A lot of people like to collect vinyl. A lot of people like to have a nice, stereo system with a really good, record player and love to listen to vinyl. Now, CDs and vinyl are both very difficult for an artist such as myself and most artists out there to afford to be able to make, so that we can make a little bit of money off of them. And then also, it's prohibitively expensive for the consumer. If I were to go and print a bunch of CDs, the cost wouldn't be that great per unit. I would be able to, and if I sold them for like $15 a piece, I'd be able to make some money. It would be viable, but there's no market for that. The only way to make CDs so that you can make a good profit off of them, you have to make at minimum 1,000. Selling 1,000 CDs in today's market, in my position where I don't play live any longer, I wouldn't be able to sell them at shows. I would have to figure out a way to ship them if I did make them. It all of a sudden becomes a nightmare of logistics, and I'm going to end up sitting on at least half of those copies for a very long time, which would just erase any profit margin whatsoever for myself. Making vinyl, I looked it up because I love vinyl. I would love to put out this album on vinyl. It's the perfect length for it. The tracks would feel great on a record, with side A and side B. It would be fantastic. Trust me, if I thought that I could sell them and if I had the upfront cash to, manufacture, it would be great. Here's the reality. The reality of the situation is that it would cost me at minimum, and these wouldn't even be very good quality records to begin with, it would be $1,300 for me to make 100 records. Okay, you start doing the math and then figuring in shipping and all those sorts of things, I would have to sell those records. Let's see. $113. So it's $13 per record just to make them. Then there's shipping costs. Let's call that $10. We're up to, $23 per unit, my cost to get them to you. And then I need to make some money. So we're looking at like $35 minimum. And I would probably want to charge even a little bit more than that just to make it worth my time, because I'm probably not going to sell all of them right away. So a $40 record from an independent artist like myself just seems crazy. I don't want people to pay that. I can put my music up on digital platforms. Bandcamp I make money off of, which is great. Then the other formats are, the streaming formats. And I'm fine with just getting my plays that way as well. And people can download it from Bandcamp and have, kind of the sense of a physical copy, having the artwork and, all that kind of cool stuff going along with it. And that's great. And I don't charge much for that. I charge like $5 for the download and you get all the goodies. So the basically it's just economically impossible for an artist such as myself artists even, above myself, there's a lot of bands who cannot afford, and a lot of artists who cannot afford to make physical copy any longer. It's just not in this economic environment, and with people mainly streaming and wanting the convenience of just, hitting iTunes and going, oh, I want that album. Boom, there we go. It's in my collection. And that is just the reality of the situation. I wrote some more notes here. Let's just take a quick look here. There's the shipping headaches, which I already talked about. I mean, if I had to sit and box things up and send them to individuals, which is the only way I could do it, I wouldn't want to pay it. If I bring anybody else into the equation, I'm paying them to do the work for me, and the cost goes up to the end user once again. So you have that. The overall cost to the consumer, I feel, is just too high. If you're going to buy an album, I think that you should pay $10 for it at the record store or the thrift store or whatever. I think that charging somebody $40 for a brand new record just doesn't seem right. Then there's also just the overall quality. Since the decline of physical copy manufacture, especially on the small scale for indie artists, I would expect that if I had a run of 1,000 CDs made, I would expect that at least a tenth of those are going to be no good. Either the media that they use has expired, or the burns won't be proper. These are the realities that you face. I mean, I've always, when I burned CDs even back in the day and ordered them up from like CD Baby or whatever, there were always flawed copies. And that was a huge headache, because you sell, somebody a CD, they come back to you and they go, hey, this CD doesn't work. So there's problems just in the physical manufacture. The same thing holds for vinyl. Getting vinyl made at a reasonable cost, like I said, which is like $1,300 for 100 records, I can expect that those records are not going to be that good a quality as well. And it's just because not many people are doing this anymore. Of course, the major artists can, they still have, the pipeline to the big manufacturing companies that do good work and make quality product. But out there in the world of independent artists who are, scrambling to find the best deal, you may get a decent deal, and you may be able to have a decent, passing on of cost to the end user, but you're going to just, you're taking a chance on giving them a lousy product at the end of the day as well. So those are the realities of physical copies. I would love to make records. I would love to have all my stuff on vinyl. That would be an incredible dream. I just do not see a way to make that possible unless for some bizarre reason I blew up and had all kinds of resources, and I would do it more as a boutique thing. It would be like, oh, okay, so now I've really, I'm getting a lot of streams, people are really interested, and if there was a demand there, then I could do it. And so this is just to answer some people in the comments who have been asking about the album and whether or not they can get like a CD or a vinyl version. There will not be any of that at this time. However, liking, subscribing, if I get a lot of streams, word of mouth, if people enjoy what I'm doing and there's enough demand, I would love to make some wonderful product for people to have. So those are the realities of physical copies. I just wanted to let everybody know kind of how that works. If you didn't already know how that works, if you are an artist and you're exploring these things, I would highly recommend making sure that you have the demand built up before you even think about making any physical copies. Don't waste your money. Build your online presence, social media presence, and get those streams up, and you'll create that demand. All right. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched the video to this point, please hit the like and subscribe. Subscriptions are going up. The channel is growing. Everything's good. And comments. Anybody have any, maybe there's alternative ways, or there's people who know other methods where maybe there is less expense but good quality. I highly doubt it, but if that's out there, let me know. I would love to hear about it. So hit the comments section, hit that like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time with another video. You take care.